If you're planning for masters in Germany 2026 and 2027, then this video will save you hours of confusion and possibly your entire application, because one missing document can mean delayed process or, in the worst situation, straight rejection. So what I would recommend is watch this video till end and I will explain you the complete checklist step by step. So let's go. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mrunal Pandey. I did my masters from LMU Munich, which stands for Ludwig Maximilian Universität, and I did my master thesis from TUM, which stands for Technical University of Munich. And after graduating in 2024 December, I started working as a full time in Germany. And I applied for LMU in 2021, where the application process was quite different than what we have now, because in 2021 we didn't need this EPS certificate. Today I'm going to cover a lot of new things, and do not miss it if you're going to apply for Germany in 2026 and 2027. Why? Because I'm going to cover the mandatory documents which are needed, the country specific documents, for example APS for Indians, and third thing is common mistakes to avoid. So let's start. The first thing is the academic documents. Now what do we need in this? So first thing is the bachelor's degree certificate. So in case you have already graduated in your bachelor's and you have some work experience and then you're applying for masters, then you need your bachelor's degree certificate which is already there, and an official one which is recognized internationally. So what does this mean and how do you check it? So first thing you do is there is this thing called as ANABIN. I'll just write it down here, you can check it out, just search it on Google. So ANABIN is basically a website which tells you if your bachelor's degree certificate is internationally qualified or not. So there are some universities which offers you a degree, but that degree is not recognized internationally, so you don't want to do that. Avoid this mistake. Go to ANABIN website, check if your degree is qualifying internationally, and get that certificate ready. That is a very free certificate you can do, and which you must submit to the German university. So have your bachelor's degree ready and get your ANABIN certificate. So you have these two documents ready. What is the next thing? If you have not yet graduated your bachelor's and you are in your semesters, let's say fifth semester or let's say fourth semester, if you have a 3 years bachelor's course, for example, or let's say if you have 4 years bachelor's course and then you are in your, let's say, sixth semester or seventh semester, you have not yet completed your bachelor's degree, then you must provide this provisional certificate. What does this mean? So you go to your college where you study, you're doing your bachelor's, you ask them, oh, can you please give me a provisional certificate? And they will give you this letter in which it has been written that this person is registered in this college and will graduate after 2 semesters with around this grade. So this is like an official certificate which the college will give you, and it tells you that okay, so this is something official and the person has already registered properly and it's not a scam. So this is very important. So your bachelor's degree, your, let's say, your provisional degree in case if you have not graduated yet, and your ANABIN certificate which needs to be ready. So this is one part. Let's go to second part. So the next part is you need to have your all transcripts ready. What does this mean? Your 10th standard certificate, your 12th standard certificate, your bachelor's, let's say if you have your degree ready, then all the transcripts which you have, first semester, second semester, third, and so on. If you have not yet graduated, then let's say till fourth semester or till fifth semesters, all the transcripts. So everything needs to be ready. So 10th, 12th, and then your bachelor's transcripts. So everything needs to be ready. What is the next thing? The grading scale. Now in India, the grading scale is quite different than what we have in Germany, right? So in India, we'll have CGPA. What does it mean? If the person has 9.9 CGPA or 10 CGPA, it means that is the CGPA is really good. But in Germany, the credits are different. It goes from 1 to 4. So 1 is the highest and 4 is the lowest. So it goes from 1, 1.3, 1.5, 1.7, then 2. Then again it repeats. 2, 2.3, 2.5, 2.7, and 3. And it goes from 1 being the highest, the closer you get to 1, the better grade you have. And then from 1 to 4. 4 is the lowest grade, and 5 means fail. So you need to know that, and you need to convert this. And how you do that? You need to have this grading scale page which you must send to the German university. Let's say, oh, I have 9.5 CGPA in India, but the German people don't know, because from 1 to 4 there is no 9.5 in that. So how will they figure it out? So with your transcripts, you need to submit this grading scale as well. This grading scale, like most of the students, they forget to attach to their application, and it kind of backfires on them. So avoid that. That is the main thing. So just to sum up these academic documents, you need your bachelor certificates, then ANABIN certificate, then if you don't have your bachelor certificate yet, submit a provision certificate, then all the transcripts and your grading scale. Now the twist here is you need to attest some of these documents, and this depends upon university to university. Now when I applied to LMU in 2021, it was clearly mentioned in the email that whatever you are submitting, you need to attest that. So how do you attest your documents? You go to the lawyer nearby in India, you give them your original document and give them a photocopy, and the lawyer will like take some amount, like let's say 20 rupees, 50 rupees, 100 rupees or something like that, and they will put a Indian government stamp. So this means that the photocopy is taken from the original document and it is not faked. So this is very important. So it depends upon the university if they want attested documents or not. And this is kind of main thing people miss, because in 2021 I forgot to send these attested documents to LMU, and they like emailed me back saying that, oh, your documents are not attested and we need attested documents by post. And I got the actual offer from LMU to start my masters there. So one more tip I really want to give you here is scan all the documents properly. Do not have anything like which is smudged or which cannot be clearly seen or anything like that. Have it properly scanned. And also, if the document is in English, it's good. If it's in Hindi or if it's in some other language, then please translate it to English, or at least have some German translation like that, and then send it to German universities, because they do not understand in what language it's written. So English and German are two languages which are accepted for degree transcripts or all the documents you're sending it to them. Let's move forward. So the next thing is your language proficiency. What do you need? So let's say if it's an English taught program in a German university, they usually require TOEFL score or else IELTS score. What I had in 2021 was the IELTS score, and the minimum band which was required was 6.5 to 7 band. Now this varies from university to university, so you need to check pretty clearly what requirements do they have for English taught programs. And let's say if you're applying for German taught programs, then they need the score of TESDAF and DSH. So it depends upon university to university again, and you need to check what is the base requirement for these scores. So the next thing is the APS certificate. So this certificate, it stands for the Akademische Prüfstelle, which means that this certificate, if you have it, it means that the documents you have submitted, the academic ones, they are authentic, and then they can be used to apply for the visa, or even it means that they reach the German standards of education. So this is very important. And if you are Indian, then you must provide this APS certificate. Now my tip is, once you have decided that okay, I need to apply for German universities, just straight away apply for APS, because it takes time. So the next thing is SOP, which stands for the statement of purpose. Now this is very important because this is where the person stands out from the crowd. So why is it important? Because it tells the recruiter or the person how motivated this candidate is. Now there are a lot of AI tools out there. You have Chat GPT, you have so many, there is Cloud as well now. But always remember, the recruiter can always tell if it's handwritten or is it written from an agency or it is written with AI. So what I always suggest to my students is, please write it from your hand. Do not write it through any agency or do not write it using AI, because they can easily like pinpoint out, and this is where the most students fail. So what is important is the SOP needs to cover why are you motivated to study in this universities, then why that particular university. For example, I'll talk about LMU. So why LMU? If you're applying for, let's say, molecular and cellular biology course, then why this molecular and cellular biology course? Have you researched thorough? Do you know our research groups? Can you mention the research groups in your SOP? There are so many things which needs to be included so that the SOP stands out, because there are three documents which are very important if your applications is going to be strong. There is SOP, there is CV, and there is reference letter. Let's talk about CV now. Now let's talk about your CV. Now CV needs to be clearly structured, extremely clearly structured, and do not include anything of your CV into your SOP. That is very important thing, because what people do, like the biggest mistake is, they put this thing which you have in your CV into the SOP, and then everything is just same. Do not do that. SOP has to be SOP and CV needs to be a CV. What does this mean? Now CV needs to be 1 to 2 pages. That is important. Clear, structured, concise. Let it be very concise. You do not need to write paragraph just to explain what you have done. Okay, start with your photo, your then add your like information about yourself, write your career objective, go with your work experience first, then your skills, and then your education, and then let's say you have some extracurricular and the languages. Go with this format. This is the perfect format which is accepted by the German universities. And one more thing, there is applicant tracking system called as the ATS. So what this ATS is, now imagine like there is one course and you receive 5,000 applications for that course. If you're a recruiter, you would go mad like seeing this 5,000 application. You do not have time to like go through all the SOPs, go through all the CVs. So what will the recruiter do? They'll take all this material, put it through the ATS system, let the ATS system which is like a AI system which scans your CV and the SOP, let it do its work. And once you have everything with the recruiter, then he will basically scan it like human version, and if they think like, okay, fine, now this is like a good candidate, like let me talk to the candidate, and then you get an interview. So passing this ATS system is very important. So as I said before, CV, SOP and reference letter, these are the three things that are going to stand out the most among the crowd. And this means have these three things very solid by hand. No agency will help you to do that. You need to make everything on your own. Agency will only copy paste it. So what I would suggest is make it from scratch and put your own experiences in it. And there are various amazing ATS formats which are available on the internet. You like people usually I've seen they talk about Europass CV as well. But Europass CV doesn't put everything that you need. There are specific few things which you need to add by yourself as well. And Europass doesn't cover everything. I'm going to talk about this extra at the end, so keep up with me right now. So let's talk about the letter of recommendation or the LORs. Now, what you need to know is you need this LORs, two of them, and you need to have it from the professors or the supervisors or your PI, or if you have done some internships in some company, then the supervisors, their letterheads. Now, what want you to know is whenever you have this letter of recommendation, make sure it is cleared, structure, and it has an official letterhead, which means the name of the person, the address of the company, then the subject, then what the supervisor has written, and then the, let's say, the designation. So this is very important you to have, and at least two of them. What I personally would recommend you is at least have a recommendation letter from a person who has a PhD, because that makes a difference. So someone who has a PhD will have a strong letter of recommendation than a person who does not. And the next thing what I would say is have a official signature on it, and as well as official stamp of the company, or official, let's say, the stamp of the university in case if you're taking it from a supervisor. So have this proper official document ready. This is very important. And next thing, I would also like to point out that in Germany, letter of recommendation is taken very seriously, because if someone is recommending you like a supervisor or a PI, and at his post, if that person is writing a recommendation letter for you or a reference letter for you, then it means that that person is taking responsibility of your work, because that person has worked with you. So this is very important, and Germany takes this very seriously. Now the next thing everyone knows, your passport. Obviously, if you want to like apply for a visa, you need a valid passport. So have a valid passport, like get a clear scanned copy, get it attested, and then your passport copy is ready. So the next thing which I haven't touched before is the additional documents which you need, or maybe you need. So first thing is your portfolio. For example, if you're applying for some design courses, so this is very important. Second thing is some universities may ask for your work certificate. Some universities may ask for your GRE or GMAT score. So you need to show that as well. So let's say you decide to study in this university. You go to their website, you check out their website, you see, oh, this is university is amazing. I would love to work and do my masters here. And now you go through the courses, you check what requirements do they have, then what is the language level do they need, is it German, is it English, then you see what requirements do they have, SOP, how many words. For example, in LM it's clearly written on the website that the SOP needs to be in 600 words. Then reference letter, okay, fine, but how many reference letters do they need, one, two, or three? Every single thing, I'm literally highlighting this in bold, every single thing is written on the university's website. No agency can tell you something new. Why? Because the SOP that you need, what needs to be included in the SOP, how many reference letters do you need, what kind of CV do they need, what is the selection process, what is the application criteria. So this is very important, and everything is already mentioned in the website. You don't need to use your head or ask 100 of people. Everything is there. And then the common mistakes you need to avoid: please do not like send copies which are not clear. That is like a amazing red flag. Then second thing is, please put APS certificate. There are some students who forget to attach the APS certificate and then send the whole copy. Do not do that. Third thing is, make sure that the GRE scores, GMAT scores, IELTS, TOEFL test, DAF, DSH, whatever scores you have, make sure to attach that additional like documents with it, because you'll have always a section of language thing, and you need to like upload all these certificates there. So this is very important. And the next thing is, do not submit this generic SOP or generic CV to the university. Tailor it more. What does tailoring mean? I will make a separate video on this, and I hope I'll address all the questions there. So tailor it according to the university you are applying for, your CV, your, let's say, your SOP which you are going to submit. Tailor it, everything, and how you need to tailor it. Let's make a new video on that. And if you have any suggestions on other various videos or various topics you would like to have information on, just type it down in the comments, and then I will make sure I address it in the next video. And I know this whole process seems very overwhelming and tedious, but here's how I can help you. Now, all I have this experience of everything because I've gone through it pretty recently, like just 1 2 years back, and now I'm working here. So this thing is very fresh in my mind of what documents you need, what common mistakes you can maybe make, then what possible changes are there, everything. So here's how I can help you. So I have this website, it's called as the Topment website, and here you can go, and I offer amazing services. For example, tailoring your CV, tailoring your SOP. You're applying for your masters, you're applying for your job first time after graduation, you start your job, or even you, let's say you just want to have a doubt clearing session of how Germany is, how the student life is, or how the work life is how is it different from India, do you get Indian food, how is it. If you want to talk about more, and if you want to learn from my experiences and then create your own, just go through this website, you will find amazing services which I offer. Book the slot and I will see you there. Yes, so this is your complete checklist of your German masters in 2026 and 27. If you find this helpful, please do subscribe, comment down, and also if you have any further questions, just add it to the comments. Maybe I'll make another video like a part 2 thing of answering your questions. So see you in the next video and have a nice day. Bye bye.